welcome to another wonderful week in physics. This is now, I believe, our 6th week into physics, and it has been a good one. We did not have actual class on Tuesday this week, which was kind of nice because there was some stuff going on with politics that I was kind of hoping to be able to pay attention to, so I was able to do that. I also had an opportunity to perform some research for my SCAD, as well as our group project involving the balloon launcher. I also figured out how to post some of my YouTube's podcasts, which was good, and worked on my ePortfolio. I felt a little silly making these first few videos, but it has gotten easier and easier. My computer skills are actually starting to improve, so that's a good bonus too. I've been continuing my journal writing through this week. It is good because it helps to keep me constant and keep me current with the information that we're going over. In researching my SCAD, I found that there are different types of cloning. I think I have decided that I am against cloning in certain aspects, but in certain aspects I'm definitely for cloning. I feel like there are a lot of valuable outcomes to cloning if used properly. It will be fun to debate my points. As I mentioned in previous notes, I did search different types of balloon launchers. All of the ones I viewed seemed fairly similar and somewhat boring, so I was hoping that we would be able to do something a little bit more exciting for ours, but it seems pretty customary as far as the type of launcher that we're going to be using. I also know that I need to work on adding graphics or something maybe a little bit more exciting to some of my podcasts. That's something that I do need to work on and just improve my audio-visual skills when it comes to working with the computer. I hope that I am doing this correctly. I know that David will hopefully let us know if we are encountering some errors or making some mistakes with the type of podcast that we're putting out, but hopefully we're doing it correctly. Continuing on, our class Thursday of this week was extremely busy. We continue to review and expound on what we have learned with graphing as it relates to position, velocity, and acceleration. It is a new concept to think in terms of positive and negative velocity. That's something that I am having a bit of a hard time grasping. I think our mind tends to think in a mathematical type of situation, and we always want to do the math first before we actually sit and analyze the data, try to figure out which shape the graph will take form as. Sometimes there are steps that are important before we actually get into the numbers and data. I'm hoping that I can remember these I know that I need to practice this, and I must learn how to do this and how to plot these graphs, because I know it's going to be very important down the road in physics, but also learning how to graph things like that. It's important for figuring out things that are in our daily lives. This class is easy to get behind in. If you're not continuously working, it is very it's very instrumental that we continue to stay up with the work that we've been given. And I think it's important that we're constantly practicing and expounding upon the work that David's given us. And I know that that's something that I need to work on as far as practicing the graphs and what type of equations we use to figure out those graphs as it relates to some of the trigonometry that we have used in the past. It's just something that we need to practice so that those new ways of thinking will be constantly reaffirmed in our minds. I know I need to try harder at some of the things that intimidate me and keep current on the tasks that I'm doing. This does help me to recognize that physics is an aspect in my everyday life, and it does make me think a little bit more, like I said, on a daily basis as to how physics pertains to me and how each situation does involve physics. So That's another week. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, and I'll be back next week. Thanks.